Okay, welcome to episode 2 of X Manson Annotated. Going over this again, X Manson was an infamous X-Men dark fit cricket written sometime in 2000 by a writer using the pseudonym Dr. Benway. This podcast will present Marvel's Merry Mutants as a wicked cult. With this podcast, I aim to perform a dissection of part of a chapter of this fanfiction. Today we will only be covering the first section, and that is the section that covers everyone's favorite ginger psychic, Jean Grey. Starting off, we'll begin with the portion that is Kitty Pryde in the then present moment watching the documentary, and I'll come back at the end with a proper look into what we're reading. Once again, if you have any questions or commentary, please reach out at 913-703-4750. Drop a voicemail and we'll air it on the podcast. She is halfway into the first bag of chips when the documentary comes back on. She reaches in mechanically one at a time, slowly turning shiny with grease and becoming speckled with salt grains. She dips each chip into thick latex paint-like dip. She empties the half-pound tub fit in under 15 minutes. Shot of a prosperous middle-aged couple in a rather upscale suburban living room furnished entirely out of the 1976 Sears catalog. Caption: John and Elaine Gray, Bethpage, New York. JG: We thought we were doing the best for our daughter. EG: He said he could help her, and he did. JG: We thought she was never going to wake up again. Interviewer: When did she go into a coma? JG: September 25th, 1969. Interviewer: That would have been 3 weeks after Charles Xavier opened his school. Did you know him then? DG: Not until he came to see my daughter at the hospital. He told me he was a psychiatrist. JG: I believed him. He did wake her up, damn it. It was my daughter. I did everything I could for her. I knew it was the right thing at the time. I knew it. I couldn't help myself. Shot of a young woman in a small but comfortable apartment. Caption: Sarah Gray, social worker, Hoboken, New Jersey. SG: Mom and Dad never had a clue. They meant well, but they had no idea what she was going through. She went for self-medication like most paths do. I was covering for her from the age of 12. Interviewer: How so? SG: Doing her homework, keeping Mom and Dad away when she was high, making excuses for her when no one had any idea where she was. Interviewer: Did she ever run away from home? SG: 4 or 5 times. Never got far, though. Interviewer: Were you with her when she went into a coma? SG: Yeah, she blacked out in the mall. I thought she'd been drinking, but I couldn't wake her up. That really scared me. Shot: The Grays. EG: Our daughter never touched drugs or alcohol. Never. JG: She was a good girl. EG: She thrived at the school. Interviewer: Did you visit her there? JG: Once or twice. Interviewer: She was a boarder there. JG: We thought it was best. Interviewer: You never felt the need to visit more often? EG: No, I imagined because of what he did to our minds. Shot: Sarah Gray. They didn't have to do anything to their minds. They were so far in denial they were seeing the pyramids. As long as they talked on the phone once a week, she said everything was okay. They were happy. Interviewer: Did you go to the school? SG. Every week. Interviewer. What'd you think of it? SG. Guess I thought it was kind of neat compared to Bethpage High. I mean, they had no timetable, they could study what they wanted to, they had all kinds of neat stuff like a VCR. We used to watch movies on tape back when that was new. Interviewer. Was she happy there? SG. Oh yeah, she could mind speak with me. I could feel how happy she was, or at least how happy she wanted me to think she was. She was read right. Interviewer. You suspected that she wasn't happy? SG. Instinct said she wasn't. Never could put my finger on why. Interviewer. What about the other kids? SG. I liked Bobby Drake. He was fun. Hank McCoy was a pompous ass. One of those people who's happy but their eyes never smile, you know? Worthington was a prick. Interviewer. What about Scott Summers? SG. She introduced him to me as her boyfriend. He never said a word, shy as hell. I don't think he said more than 10 words to me ever. Interviewer. Were they in love? SG. I think so. She seemed happiest when he was near. Interviewer. What about Charles Xavier? SG. Hardly ever saw him. He would tutor them all individually. She usually had me over on days when he wasn't there. Interviewer. Did you see when did you see him? But when you did see him, rather. SG. He creeped me out. Interviewer. Did you tell your parents? SG. Why? They wouldn't have listened. Interviewer. When did you stop visiting the school? SG. After I went away to college. Interviewer. Mills College? SG. Yes. Interviewer. Why so far? SG. I wanted to go to a women's college. They accepted me on partial scholarship. I had to work 20 hours a week to get through. It was brutal. Interviewer. Did you apply to Smith? Weren't there ones nearer? SG. Well, yeah, but they didn't give me. Oh, shit. Interviewer. You wanted to be closer. SG. That fucker, that absolute fucker. I wanted to be closer. It didn't even occur to me that he could fuck with that. That fucker must have mind raped everyone. Okay, that's the end of the Jean Grey section. Here's where we get into a bit of the meat. Firstly, I want to bring attention to the date that Jean fell into her coma, September 25th, 1969. A year after Charles Xavier established the school in Westchester, though the story says 3 weeks. Although if you listen to the previous entry, you'll know that he established it in 68. Now, here's where we get into something weird. In the comics, Jean first enters her state of catatonia after witnessing the death of her friend Annie, which first caused her powers to manifest. I believe this still happened, only the coma didn't occur, until after Jean started self-medicating. As Sarah mentioned, she was covering for her from the age of 12, though her parents seemed ignorant of it. I'm not completely sold that they're speaking this way out of sheer ignorance, though. I think that their minds have been thoroughly fiddled with by Charles Xavier. For notice, listen back, their responses are considerably shorter than Sarah's, suggesting either some kind of response to being tampered with or perhaps shock. Now we get some world building. We notice that Sarah has slang words for psychics. Read, write. Write meaning the ability to insert memories and communicate telepathically, potentially altering memories, and read meaning to see and comprehend others' thoughts. And Jean was both. A few more details become clear from Sarah's recollections. Warren is a prick, his dad is bankrolling in the school, and as we'll learn later, he survives. Scott reads to me as very autistic. I'm not sure if Jean and Scott were ever in love in this alternate universe. It feels like the boyfriend and girlfriend dynamic was sort of thrust upon them by Xavier. As we'll see later, this is in service of creating the ideal mutant messiah. That wraps up this episode of X-Manson Annotated. Please join me next week when we'll discuss the past of Scott Summers.